Welcome back, Arctic Monkey and Fantano fanboys, to another epic episode of Mac Music Review. Obviously, today we are talking about The Car. Fantano gave this album a 3 out of 10. Let's talk about it. As Fantano says in his review, The Car, the newest Arctic Monkeys album, is taking a lot of stylistic influence from Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino, which is. I can't. Hey, there it is. This album is really the first Arctic Monkeys album, because I'm not a huge Arctic Monkeys fan, but this is the first Arctic Monkeys album that I really loved. That really did a lot for me. I love the lyrical concept. I love a good concept album. This is a concept album that absolutely commits to the concept, to the theme. And The Car is not nearly as thematic, so I don't think I like it as much as this album. But musically, I am very impressed with The Car. From the quirky guitars on Hello You to those massive orchestral swells on I Ain't Quite Where I Think I Am. It's so hard for me to say that. To just the ominous tone of Sculptures of Anything Goes. This album musically is so interesting. Interesting from a band that I don't think has always been the most interesting band. I can acknowledge that Arctic Monkeys has been a really great band for basically their entire existence. It's an extremely consistent band that I've never been a huge fan of. But I love Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino because it was so out there, both musically, lyrically, and thematically. It fully committed to this concept. And this, while it doesn't have some massive concept, it does have something that is a some postmodern appeal in the randomness and specificness of the lyrics. If you asked me what The Car was about, I couldn't tell you. Or asked me what these specific songs are about, I couldn't tell you. What I could tell you is that these songs sound amazing. They're super well crafted, and the lyrics also sound good. I'm not gonna tell you the songs are badly written. And I think there are interesting ideas that peek through the surface that are a little bit hard to grasp onto, like that ominous tone created also by the lyrics and the music on Sculptures of Anything, the chorus of Body Paint, and then Big Ideas. That song is so where it sounds like he's pontificating on the idea of how this album was created. And more than anything about this album, I just love how confident the band sounds. Arctic Monkeys is truly at a point where they do not care about making commercial music. That AM Arctic Monkeys is gone and dead. Now we have an Arctic Monkeys that are they know they have a fan base, a very well-established fan base, and that they can just make what they want to make, regardless of having big hooks, regardless of being rock bangers. The album is pretty slow, but I love it, and I respect that speed and that tone of the album. Fantano gave this thing a 3. He trashed it. Said it was trash. I mean, the weirdest thing is he didn't say it was trash. You would think a 3 out of 10, you're like, this man hates this album. It sounds like he just personally dislikes it. His biggest issue with the album, he says this in the description, is the vocal performances, which I just think is the weirdest complaint. Is anyone listening to this and saying, oh, the vocals don't sound good? That is such a weird criticism. I've never heard anyone said that his voice doesn't sound good or that it doesn't sound good on this album. I think Alex Turner is a great singer. On this album, and on Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino, I think his voice just adds a lot to it. There's a lot of shades and interesting layers to his vocal performance. I think it suits this tone and the speed and the vibe, the schmaltzy vibe of the songs extremely well. I really do also love and respect the conciseness of the album. Feels like we're living in a time when albums are just so long now, and I love long albums. My album of the year is always an album that's 50 minutes long. I generally, my favorite albums end up being longer albums, not because they're long, but it just so happens that there's a lot of really amazing long albums. My album of the year this year is very long, and my follow-up is even longer. But I digress. That is off topic. What I really wanted to say was there's 2 songs in this thing that I do not really vibe with. I think there's 2 songs that are forgettable, that do get lost in the sauce. 2 songs that Fantano probably also doesn't vibe with, and those songs are Mr. Schwartz and Jet Skis on the Moat. Both of these songs do not give a whole lot musically. They almost sound like the band is on autopilot. When I think this album is really so creative and interesting, these songs are just not so creative and not so interesting, at least musically, in my opinion. And lyrically, they're not doing anything for me either. Guys, I love the ornate sound of this album. That opening music on the title track on the car, and just so many bits of music that just grab my ears. They just grab me and say, like, pay attention to this, because this is good stuff. Like, musically, this album is just gorgeous in so many passages. And yes, it is a little bit slower. Yes, not every song really has a climax. Not every song has a great buildup that leads to an epic moment. But you are getting great music, even if it doesn't always satisfy in like a traditional sense. I just love the way this album sounds. I love the instrumentation. And I really do like all of these songs. I think every single song has something to offer outside of 2 songs. So 2 out of the 10 I'm not crazy about. And I think lyrically the album is not the most cohesive thing. It's not something that's going to grab you. And I do like gravitate towards lyrical music, lyrical songs. I like lyrics. I really liked the social commentary on Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino. Social commentary on anything, really. That's why I love Father John Misty. But this album is very good. It's very good. And I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Using Fantano's scale, I'll probably give it a decent 8. Decent 8 out of 10. Very good. This review was absolutely not as concise. It was not as, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I feel like I was kind of rambling. I feel like a structured review of the car is what the car deserves. Like an in-depth like explanation and breaking down the music. I think Fantano did a good job of that, describing the music in a very like effective way, what this album sounds like and what the vibes some of these songs create. But I really am vibing with this a lot. This is probably one of my favorite Arctic Monkeys albums. And I really do really like AM also. Even though I don't like all the songs, I think AM has a lot of really quality music, a lot of quality songs, especially the hits. The hits are very good. I will link my Arctic Monkeys review, for the AM, and I will link my best albums of 2018 where I talk about Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino. Thank you for watching the video. Have a great rest of your day.